Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. Hope you're well wherever you are, and please check out parts 1 and 2 if you haven't already done so. I hope you enjoyed them if you did so, and I hope you do enjoy them if you do so. I'll try not to waffle in the intro as I normally try to keep it short and sweet, but for those who might have stumbled across this mad guy here, I normally do these 3-part videos pretty often, so where I talk about some ideas, and in the future I'm hoping to collaborate and talk to get other people on the channel and discuss, like, say, for instance, black politicians or people of colour generally, and what their views are politically. I'd love to hear from people of colour and that sort of thing. So I hope I can collaborate on this channel, and either through Zoom or Skype or whatnot, and maybe other groups as well, like disabled people or other often disadvantaged groups or marginalised groups, or just generally talk to people about their political views, and possibly celebrate some politicians of colour in the West, or minority politicians, people with learning disabilities or physical or mental disabilities, like dyslexic politicians as well, like Matt Hancock and people like that, just to mix it up. But anyway, this is a continuation on some of my political aspirations or views and things like that. So I hope you enjoy, and here goes. So number 21. To recap on some of my ideas or ideals, I often fear I forgot something. As I said in part 2, I'm not sure if it's my dyslexia or my mental health problems or anxiety or what that makes me forget things, or because I think too much. I think it's because I think too many ideas. I think that's what it is. But stress might be a part of it. But anyway, I'm sure there was something I was meant to mention in part 1 which I forgot. But as I said in part 1 also, I hope to cover these sorts of videos every Thursday or as often as possible or whatnot. So hopefully I'll get around to them in over some time and that sort of thing. But yeah, so hopefully one of my dreams is all the Celtic countries, as I call them. I think most people call them Celtic nations, but I call them Celtic countries because of my love for alliterations. Will come together, like Ireland, I think Scotland, Wales, Brittany or somewhere like that, in France, I think, and somewhere else in the UK. I can't remember exactly what I think there's even somewhere in Italy or or Spain, which is Celtic. But anyway, all those Celtic countries, especially Ireland, maybe Scotland and Wales as well, can somehow, especially Ireland and maybe Scotland and Wales as well, can somehow come together to facilitate like a peace deal between Russia and the Ukraine, which would obviously help to stop a lot of people being killed and suffering and losing their family and things like that. As someone who loves peace, and also as someone who loves those countries, well, like Ireland especially, and also like the BRICS themselves. I know Russia is one of the BRICS, but for countries like that to come together and discuss, maybe the other members of the BRICS could have a gentle word with Mr. Putin or whatever, and say talk about peace and how to make peace and make those peace deals, if at all possible, and also different organisations like that, like I say, Celtic countries and the BRICS, and like Malaysia, India, Indonesia, Singapore, and possibly the rest of Asia, or maybe African countries could host events, and hopefully they'll be rewarded for making peace in the future, or being well. Godspeed, God willing, and Godspeed. And also, from a bias point of view, I'd love for as much for those countries to be able to invest in a football, and maybe like the sanctions to come to an end. So also that, again, from a bit of a bias point of view, maybe that could be part of the peace deal, which I think is very important for the people who are suffering, like especially children in Ukraine, which I'm mainly thinking of, as well as around the world. But from, as I say, admittedly, from a bias point of view, I think those sanctions to come to an end also, hopefully they'll be able to invest, as well as others like the BRICS and others would be able to invest in Italian football at all levels, like lower leagues, all the way to Serie A, the top league in Italy, and also Celtic as well. 22, next Thursday being the technically it's Friday now, but in the morning, but next Thursday being Italy's Unification Day and St. Patrick's Day, I hope to talk about mainly about Italian football, Celtic FC, and Ireland, and how I'd love to empower all three of those things. So I'm not sure if I'll get much of the political stuff done like today, but hopefully the week after that, which is I think the 24th, hopefully I'll talk about a lot of my anti-imperial ideals, because 24 reminds me of anti-imperialism, as would 26 for some reason, like these numbers. I think it's because like 24 hours in a day, so I talk about like countries and their independence and their independence struggles. So anyway, yeah, so I hope to talk about some of those things in the future. Number 23, I hope to look at ways to fundraise for the poorest 10% of people in all possible countries, especially those in war zones, and from the poorest countries, like to help them out as much as possible. 10% of the poorest people and struggle families around the world, in every possible country. Number 24, I think it's really good that people are supporting people in Ukraine, and I think part of me thinks it's a bit of a shame that the same support wasn't given for the people of Iraq. Like, one of my dreams would be that Iraq somehow gets maybe reparations to get the amount of money they would have had from their oil, or even or other resources, or all of their resources, had the war not happened, or whatever money was taken out of their nation involved in the war. I hope they will get that back. But I think it would be great if as many people, as important as it is to support Ukraine, I hope that similar things will be done for the people of Iraq, as they were also invaded, and other countries that were invaded as well, who have been through bad things. But I hope to support things like the DEC, Disasters Emergency Committee, and Save the Children and things like that, especially if I know where the money is going to actually help people. If I could fundraise for them, although I don't have much money myself, but I'd love to fundraise as much as I could, and I would love to give as much as I could as well, to disadvantaged groups around the world. And again, 10% poorest people in all possible countries, and that sort of thing. Yeah, so especially for former colonies. I think that was number 24. Number 25, as I often say, I'd love to support republics, and again, I'd love for republics to come together and network together and empower each other financially and / economically, and also, again, invest in Italian football and Celtic as well, as Italy is a republic, and most Celtic fans are probably Republicans as well, as I mentioned before. Number 26, again, I'd love to have lots of anti-imperial ideals and ideas, and talk about reparations and the case for reparations, and why I think reparations should happen and how I think they should happen. Because I think if you look back at parts of history, I think to look at events that actually happened and were caused by colonialization, how to pronounce it, I think it would be great to give reparation, things like that. So I think even if it's things like, for instance, I would love for tech companies to, whatever taxes they pay could go towards training people in Africa, indigenous Africans and Australasians. So I think that would be a great way to make up for colonization, but also for the lack of representation of people of African descent, or black people, especially women. So I think it'd be great to help indigenous women especially from Africa and Australasia, as well as indigenous people generally in tech, or STEM generally. And again, I think STEM companies, especially tech companies, whatever tax money they pay could go towards helping those countries, even if they get like fines for not paying taxes, like from the EU, like companies like Apple, if they get a fine for not paying taxes, it could go towards instead helping indigenous people from Africa and Australasia, and that would hopefully come back to benefit the tech companies, because they will also get training for the taxes they pay. They'll get trained staff from. So I think the most important thing would be to start from the youngest possible age. 27, I hope to acknowledge all those who might support me in the future. Like, if people support my political ideas or general ideas, I hope to acknowledge them and like return the favor somehow, or at least have like a list of the top supporters. Like if I had my own website, I would love to list the top people who support me and that sort of thing. Number 28, I hope that I can turn negative situations into positives again, like things like ending wars and things like that. Number 29, I hope to work. This is a bit of a controversial idea again, like many of my ideas are, to be honest, you probably noticed, but I would love to work with people with things in common with me, like olive skin, mixed race, and learn disabled people. And again, like Eurasian, Transcontinental, Mid-Eastern and Mediterranean nations. One reason why I support them is because I think I look like people from those backgrounds, as well as like Eurasian nations, reminding me of like my fellow Anglo-Indians and other Eurasians. Like they're like the country versions of us, so or the national version of us. And number 30, as ever, I'd love to hear from your ideas. And sorry if I waffled or went a bit off topic, as ever. But yeah, I'd love to hear from your ideas your opinions or ideas, and any suggestions you have or anything you want to comment. And I welcome any support. And again, if you subscribe to Answer the Call, like my channel, please let me know if you want me to do the same in return. And I'm out. Peace and love.